Are you thinking of buying Pokemon cards online? If you are, here are my top 5 things to check before you buy online so you don't get scammed. There are a lot of things to be aware of, and we are here to help you so you can know that your purchase online is a safe one. There are lots of fake cards out there. There are lots of people out trying to scam. So we're gonna go over those things so you can avoid those issues. And I'll link a video right over here so you guys can know how to spot a fake card. So you're wanting to buy Pokemon cards online. Where are some places you should start or places you should be looking at? In my personal opinion, TCG Player and Rare Candy are some incredible places for you to buy from legit sources of Pokemon cards if you're talking raw cards. And Alt would be another place that I highly recommend you buying cards from a legitimate standpoint. You could also go the eBay route, which can be a little more tricky, but we're going to be talking about ways, even if you do go the eBay route, how to avoid getting scammed on those sites. Credentials mean everything, no matter what field you're talking about. So when it comes to the credentials, if you're going to be buying a card or not, the first thing you should be looking for is reviews of a seller, the ratings of a seller, how long a seller has been in business. Sometimes if you're looking on like Facebook Marketplace or eBay, you can actually see how long a seller has been selling for. If they have a long run history for more than 2-3+ years, chances are they are a legitimate source. If you see someone who just opened up their seller account a few days ago, chances are they are not the most credible source, and I would refrain from buying from sellers that have a very short history in the community. Something you also want to look for is the number of sales that a seller has. Us personally, we sell Pokemon cards online. You can check out our TikTok shop in the link down below, but we have happily served thousands of customers. That is just something you want to be looking for in terms of credentials when you're buying online. So on the left side of the on-screen example, here is a seller that I would deem as trusted. I would personally buy from this seller. They have positive reviews, they have a good reputation, and a long-standing history as a seller. On the right-hand example, this is an example of someone that I would not trust to buy from. We'll block out the username of this person because I don't want to bring any hate towards anybody. But the unprofessionalism, the lack of reviews, and the lack of ratings makes me hesitant to want to buy something like this. There's plenty of scams out there where everything might seem legit until you get to the payment processing aspect. And there's a bunch of shady stuff. If you ever have a chance to contact the seller and just speak one-on-one with the seller, that is definitely something that I would recommend doing just to get a feel for what type of person they are, if they are trustworthy, if they're being honest and upfront. My personal recommendation, if you are able to, that you would ask for pictures of said card. One of the biggest examples of verifying the legitimacy of a card is asking for a timestamp. I will present an example of that on screen of what a timestamp looks like. But this is something that is used across the community if you are buying Pokemon cards. Especially if you're buying from places like Discord servers, which we have a link down below in the description if you guys would like to join our Discord server to become more integrated and more in depth with our community. We would love to have you there. And there's a lot of amazing, credible sellers that we have in our Discord as well that I personally vouch for. Now, this part is super subjective, and this depends on you as a buyer. What are you looking to get out of this purchase? Are you looking to potentially grade a card? And if so, you are gonna want as many detailed pictures as possible of the centering, if there's any whitening on the card, the clarity, if you are intending on grading a card and you are buying online. It can be done. I have personally bought cards online and submitted them, and they got the grade that I was hoping for. Now, if you are just a collector and you want to put something in your binder or master your collection and the quality doesn't necessarily matter to you, then you can probably bypass this section. You probably want a card that still looks pretty, but if you're not so focused on the perfect centering and the whitening on the back or the front or any dips on the front or scratches, then you could probably bypass this. And like I said, this is completely subjective to what you are looking to get out of your purchase when buying cards online. This is a investment or a purchase that you want to spend your money well on. So you just want to make sure you take extra precautions when it comes to buying a card online. And if a seller is not being cooperative with you and they're not providing pictures or answering your questions, I would definitely say probably stay away from said sellers. The next thing to be cautious of would be buying graded cards online. This will probably require a more in-depth video that we will do in the future, but just to briefly touch on this, I wouldn't buy a graded card unless the seller has a lot of verified reviews and ratings. This is one that I would more so recommend you probably purchase in person. Not saying that there's not legitimate sources out there. And again, you can use the app Alt. That is a very trusted site for purchasing graded cards. But again, I would say to probably buy graded cards in person, because you'll probably be able to spot if there's anything off or missing, if the coloring on the card is not exact, and those sorts of things. So another thing to be cautious of would be refunds and returns on buying cards. This is something that you have to be especially careful about. In the collectibles community, most shops or stores or sellers will not accept a return or a refund. So once you buy it, you own it. So that's exactly why I would say to be very, very cautious and keep in mind the things that we've been speaking on in this video before you go ahead and make your purchase. Now, I know some sites such as eBay, I believe, does do return policies, and you'll have to go through a bunch of processes in verifying the thing that you purchased, whether that's a raw card or a graded card or whatever that may be. But overall, as a whole, there is not a whole lot of places that will accept a return or a refund on a card that you have purchased. Now, if you're going through a seller in a Discord server and you're using PayPal, I would highly, highly recommend you using PayPal goods and services, because if for whatever reason, if there's any fraudulent activity that goes on when making your purchase, when you go through that PayPal goods and service, it's pretty much like an insurance for you, and you will be protected when it comes to any fraudulent activity if you buy a fake card and that sort of thing. There is a little bit of an additional fee on PayPal goods and service, but I think it is worth that investment to protect yourself, because you don't want to be spending $100, $200, even upwards of $1,000 on a card online and then turns out that it's fake and there's nothing you can do about it. So when you are looking to buy cards online, before you go ahead and make it your purchase, I wouldn't take anything for face value. I would do a little bit of homework and research to see if the card that you're trying to buy is actually what the market value shows. So always make sure to check pricings and what the market value of a card is before you go in and make your purchase. If you see a card, let's just say is at the market value of $100 and you see a listing for it online for, let's just say $50, and it looks too good to be true, chances are it most likely is. It's probably a fake card or someone trying to do some sort of fraudulent scam to you. So I would stay away from that. If it's too good to be true, it most likely is. So just to recap this video, we talked about seller reputations. Make sure you check the ratings, the reviews, the history that a seller has. Number 2 would be looking for photos or anything with credentials to show that a card is what it says it is, that the clarity of the card is nice and centered, or whatever you're looking for, like we said, whether it's a card you're looking to grade or a card just for your binder. Make sure you know what you're looking for before you go and buy. Number 3 would be grading authenticity. Like I said, I would personally prefer to buy in person when it comes to grading cards, but like I said, you can use Alt or some of the trusted Discord communities such as ours, link down below, for any graded cards that you want to purchase online. Number 4, for the return policy, just make sure you know what the policies are when buying a card. And then number 5, to make sure you check prices, make sure you know what the card is worth, where the market sits, and if it's significantly below the market, just know it's probably not a purchase you should be making. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any buying tips that have helped you, if you've purchased anything online. What are some helpful tips that we can share with others to make sure you avoid getting scammed? And also let me know in the comments down below if you have had any horror stories buying anything online. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We are doing a 500 subscriber giveaway here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you guys spread love and positivity.